Welcome to another episode of Ark Survival Ascended Bootcamp, where we will be going over all the how-tos, where-tos, and what you will need to-dos. In today's video, we're going to be covering the last kind of turret, the organic turret known as the Xplant, and everything else that's associated with those turrets. So, starting off at the basic level of getting Xplants started is if you want to have a field of Xplants or have unlimited Xplant potentiality, you're going to need a lot of fertilizer. So, how do you mass farm fertilizer? Well, the most basic way is with compost bins. And how you set up a compost bin is, if you want to have a lot, is it's going to take up a lot of space, but they go on the ground. You don't need foundations. And as I get assaulted by compies, you just keep, obviously just set them up. You're going to want them as close as possible. Three more compies? What is this? Alright, 4? Jeez, Killionaire. You're just going to want to set up as much compost bins as you can. Obviously, the more compost bins you have, the more fertilizer you can make. And this is the most basic way of making your own fertilizer. Alright, and then how do you set them up? Well, you need thatch. You need a lot of thatch. So, let's farm up a lot of thatch real quick. Shouldn't take too long. The server that I'm on, the rates are 6x right now, so a little bit higher than your normal servers, but not out of this world. Just enough to make the video go a little bit faster. Alright, we got lots of thatch. So, how are you going to set these up? Well, each compost bin is going to get its own 200 thatch, because each fertilizer is going to cost 50 thatch, but it takes 3 any size feces in order to make one fertilizer with 50 thatch. So what I do is you do 2 thatch and then you do feces. And feces for me is always on the top row. So that's how I kind of remember, is the top row is all feces, the bottom row is all thatch. Just keep that rule and you'll be able to make, 2 fertilizer every 30 minutes or so. I don't remember the exact numbers. But now I need a lot of feces. I need, 6 feces basically per compost bin. How do I get that done? Well, I'm not going to sit here and, spam the poop button, wherever that might be. That's my whistle. What is my poop button? There it is. So I'm not going to sit here and spam that, because I can only poop once every so often. The Phiomia is the pig, the man, the myth, the legend, the machine of pooping. So let me just take all this out of it. So how do you tame a Phiomia? It's a very simple tame. I'm not going to cover it for more than a couple seconds. You bowl it, you knock it out with trank arrows, and then once it's knocked out, you just feed it some miho berries. They're very easy to knock out. Let me take the saddle off. This is a level 114. It can be any level. You can tame a level 5. It'll do the exact same job that a level 150 will. Alright, so don't worry about level. Literally, just tame it. So 230 torpor off of just a couple shots. So that would take, like, what? Less than 10 shots. Alright, once you've got the Phiomia knocked out, feed it some mihos. It should stay asleep until it tames. Once it's tamed, go ahead and give that bad boy a saddle. I mean, honestly, you don't even need to give it a saddle. But how do you get it home? Because maybe you tamed it right next to your base, walk it to your base. But if you didn't, you can pick it up with an RG. Hopefully you have an RG sooner than you have a Phiomia. So, you just pick that up like that. And then bring that guy home. Alright, so, but in PvP world, there's going to be a lot of tame sniping. So I'm going to show you guys something really cool. How do you set up a Phiomia pooping pen without letting it get tame sniped? Well, it's very, very simple, actually. It's probably a lot more simple than you would even imagine. So I'm just going to put this out here like this. So I'm gonna want to set up my little pen here. Alright, so I'm gonna want it to go in like that. I'm gonna want it to back up against this wall. Alright, so let's get it in there and then we'll put the wall up. Alright. We're in. Let's get the wall down. So what you do is get it up against the corner and then back it up. Now if you try to get out right now, you're gonna get stuck. Just kidding. Okay, that's it. That's all you gotta do. Back it up, and then you're all done. Now you can give it some walls or some doors and a ceiling, and there you go. Now nobody can kill your Phiomia. Nobody can tame snipe it from the outside. But what we can kill though, these really annoying zombies. Now, how do you make it poo? You gotta feed it stim berries. So, level up its food. Phiomia, you should just be leveling up its food. Like the big pig, like a Daedon, like the little big boy. They always get their levels in food. So I'm gonna give it all the stim berries. I'm gonna give it regular berries as well because it's gonna drain its food. So I need to give it stim berries plus regular berries, so it doesn't starve to death. But now that I've got it all set up, I can access the Phiomia like so, and feed it. So I'm gonna want to make sure that I have a dino that can farm up lots of berries because I'm gonna want to refill this guy's food while it's on use. And as you can see, let's go down to 6,000. There we go. Now I just pick all that up, and I've got plenty of feces to fill up my troughs. Alright, that's the most basic way of making fertilizer. Boom. That's why you put the 2 thatch in first, because then you can just do it really quickly like this. I might even just type in feet, F-E, yeah, there we go. Alright, now the rest need two things of thatch, but there are better ways of making fertilizer. That's a pretty good way. It's very passive. You only make 2 fertilizer per compost bin, and you have to, reset it quite often, but dung beetles are another passive way of making fertilizer. On the island, they're kind of actually not very feasible to tame. It requires caving, which is ridiculous, because you can't fit a lot of tames into caving, but we'll go over it real quick. So to tame a dung beetle, you're gonna want to use large animal feces. You get that from either a Bronto or a Diplo or a Rex. What I like to do is I like to find me a Bronto or a Diplo. And let's see if I can find one real quick. There we go, found me a Bronto. And using a grapple, because it might take a second. Oops. Well, I did the absolute wrong thing. So we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Looks like it lost aggro already. Yeah, lost aggro. And we're waiting for them to drop us some. We're gonna want like one to 3 of their boosts. So it's gonna take some time to wait. So I just grapple myself to where they would poop, and pretty much just have to wait. I mean, if you're on a live official PvP server, you could probably fly around looking for Brontos and then searching the area around them for some large animal feces. But I find this to work out the best. So I'll speed it up for a bit. There we go. So slow it down. I want to grab this, and then I'm going to go over to the other Bronto because they should be taking turns, if not doing it at the same time based on when I rendered them for their stats. So this one should be doing it any second now. There is a Rex over there, so looks like he might have just pooped. Kinda looked like it. Here's some right here. Just go around. Here's some more right here. Alright, so we got 3. Now, where are the dung beetles located? They're located in caves. So, I mean, you can fit like a saber tooth in here, or I think a thyla does fit in this cave, if I remember. Or you can use, you know, something small, like a raptor. Just make your way through here, killing everything. Make sure not to kill the dung beetles, because they do spawn in the caves. It's just, they're kind of rare. I think I've only ever seen one in here before. And they seem to despawn after you look at them, because they don't aggro. They're not aggressive dung beetles. Because you can't tame them if they were aggro. You have to passively feed it the large animal feces. But yeah, Central Cave is one cave where the dung beetles will spawn. There's a lava cave, which has a lot of spawns. A lot of onyx and scorpions and everything else. Pretty much any cave that has insects is going to have dung beetles. Ocarno Cave as well has dung beetles. But you just passively feed the large animal feces and it'll tame them right up. And then what you do is you have to do the same thing, where you give your dung beetle the feces, overweight it as best you can. Technically, it won't even let you. And then how you know, you can take it, let's see, grab a PT. So how do you bring the dung beetle home? Oops. Oh, I did the wrong. There you go. You pick it up in your hands and then you ride the PT. Boom. Bring that dung beetle home. Once you've got it home, you don't want it to get tame sniped, so you're going to pretty much do the same exact thing as the Phiomia. As a matter of fact, we're going to put it in there with the Phiomia. And don't forget to enable wandering, behavior, passive behavior, enable wandering. Alright, now it's gonna sit there and it's gonna passively make fertilizer and a little bit of oil. And it's safe from getting tame sniped. And if we ever need to fill it with feces, obviously the Phiomia is right here. Use the Phiomia to get some feces, fill up your dung beetle. The bigger the poo you give it, the dung beetle, the more fertilizer you're gonna get out of it. But like I said, getting a dung beetle in the first place isn't really that viable, because going into a cave, you know, to tame a dung beetle is what it is. Everybody's got their preference, so as long as you've got the information, do with it what you will. Alright, now what's the best way to get fertilizer? Well, it's going to take a little bit of crafting, so we're going to need a smithy, and then we're going to need to make a fabricator, we're going to need some metal, some crystals, some oil, all that good stuff, because we're going to be making a toilet. And how do you use the toilet? Well, it has to have water running to it. So this is the best option, but it's not always viable, depending on your base location. Like, let's say we lived on top of Blue Ob on a PvP server, and we'd have to run water all the way up there. That could easily get griefed. I mean, it would be worth it, but it could get griefed. An easier way of going about this is just use the toilet as it is and get yourself a slot cap of fertilizer, every time you use it. So I didn't mean to place 2. Let's pick one of those up. Don't need the rest. Let's get rid of all that building material. Alright. So you've got to place the toilet on an irrigation pipe. Come on now. place it on that one. There we go. Am I flying? There we go. Alright, so we got the toilet placed. Now, it's time to use the toilet. So on the bottom right hand of my screen, you can see that the food is gray, which means I can use the bathroom. And I don't know if it's going to change in ASA, but right now the code says that if you poo while you're standing, you won't have to poo anymore. But if you sit on the toilet and you poo, the gray button doesn't actually change at all. So you can flush, get yourself some fertilizer, and you can still poo again. You also get 200 seconds of 33% more XP. You know, take that as you will. Maybe you want to route some water to your base to use the toilet just for this. It's definitely a method of getting a lot more XP. 33% is quite a lot. It's not 2x, it's not 4x, but it's something. Let's see. So what you do is you enter the inventory of it, and while you're in the inventory, you can actually still use, you use the bathroom, then go in the inventory, flush, close the inventory, poop, flush, close the inventory, poop, open inventory, flush, and you can actually do this very quickly if you get good at it. So a little bit of lag might mess you up, but you can actually end up doing this very fast. One thing you have to be careful of is if you accidentally poop twice in a row, which you can do, is one of them will go in the toilet and then one of them will go on top of the toilet. And then your food bar down here, or your food, gray, for having to use the bathroom, is gonna go light blue again, and you won't be able to do this anymore until you have to go again, of course. An even faster way to do this is if you have a teammate. And so what that teammate does is they sit here with the toilet open, and they're just spam clicking the flush spot, you know. So as soon as you go, they're already clicking this. They're clicking, 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 and then you're not in any inventory, and you're just, you know, you're pressing the poop button, pretty much trying to sync it with as soon as they flush. You know, maybe a little bit faster, because like I said, if you do it twice in a row before it's flushed, you're not going to be able to continue the cycle. So you just keep doing this, getting fertilizer pretty quickly. This would be called the toilet bridge. And then once you got your fertilizer, now I've covered the methods of how to farm fertilizer in every which way. Choose which methods you want. You can use all three, one, just focus on one, what have you. But we need water, large crop plots, and X seeds. How do you get water? Well, it rains all the time on the island, even in the snow. The snow falling counts as rain. So you're not going to need any kind of water unless you're in a cave. If you're in a cave, you're going to need to route water with taps and everything. But for outside Xplants, all you need is the water, the seed, and fertilizer. So we covered fertilizer, we covered water. How do you get the seed? The seed you get from the swamps. And there's one in particular spot where the Xplant literally grows. So you can pick the X seeds without having to get lucky. Because if you're just picking the swamp bushes by hand, you're not really going to get any seeds. I mean, you're never going to get enough of the seeds. Let's look at it from an overview. Yeah, it's right here in this lake. Okay. So let's go over this. You're at Greenob. The location is 5382, roughly. But it's this little lake in this swamp area by Greenob. And as you can see, there's Xplant here, Xplant here, Xplant a little further in here. Now, it's very dangerous in the swamp, so I would have, you know, suggest having came with a PT from above. And then you can just land here, pick your Xplants by hand. So you get 100, 280. Now, I am on 6x server, so if you want to relate this to a 1x, just take what I just got and divide it by 6. But there's still 2 more plants, one over here. Come on. There we go. technically all of these bushes have a chance to give me Xplant seeds. But these bushes are guaranteed, as you can see. And they give you a lot. So, if you don't want to be asked to come all the way over here to farm these Xplants, what you can do is simply tame something like a Theory or a Megatherium or a Rhino or anything that's good at collecting berries. You know, a Stego. You could use a Parasaur, Phiomia, and with a little bit of time, just want to see what level this is. With a little bit of time, you can actually farm up quite a bit of Xplant seeds. So I've got my Theory over here in my berry spot. Let's see here. It's got all rare flowers. Okay. And so with a Theory, you're just going to do the fiber. So it's basically the fiber. The same thing as fiber. Alright, I got only fiber right then. There we go, 25, 29. And if I just take a second to collect some seeds here, I will get quite a few. Definitely enough. The process of planting and putting 100 is quite a bit. So, boom. Now I've got like 200 Xplant seeds. Alright. I covered the seeds, covered the fertilizer, covered the water. Now we're ready to plant. So make sure you put your seed in there. You just need one seed, and then go ahead and fill that bad boy with fertilizer. Now you really don't need that much fertilizer. So if you really want to be scarce about it, you can do about 4, because it'll be down to 2 fertilizer. I always like to cap mine just because I use the toilet trick, and I'll sit there for like 10 minutes and get, you know, a couple slot caps of fertilizer. So to cap it out, might as well do what it do, because I always protect my crop plots, and that's going to be the next part of this video. Xplant turret basics is going to be the next video, but that's going to be the end of this video, and if you want to watch the next one, it will be on my channel eventually. Peace.